Hello everybody, my name is Edson and welcome to the very first episode in a brand new series that I'm going to be doing. This is something that I've never done on YouTube before and hopefully it goes down a treat and you guys enjoy it. As you guys can see on the screen, we are going to be building a small medieval sort of townhouse and these are going to be tutorials. Every episode we're going to be building something different. For the first series we're going to be building all medieval type buildings and for the next series I'm not too sure what, but this series is at least going to be about 20 episodes long, so we've got time to decide on what to do next. We've got plenty of builds to get into. So to start off with today, as you guys can see on the screen, we're going to be building a small medieval townhouse. So as you guys can see, I started off by, I think I made it a 7x9. And as you guys can probably see on the screen, I was toying with the idea of making it 9x9, and eventually later on I do actually make it 9x9, but for the very first step I did actually just create a 7x9 house, 2 high with cobblestone, and then you see the top level is wood. And this is how I like to start all of my builds, very basic structure just to get the sort of floor made out, and this is how all builds should start. It should start with a very basic structural layout of what you want, and then you start to add more detail to it as it goes, and that's how sort of all building in Minecraft is for me. And as you guys see, this is where I sort of decide that possibly 9x9 is a better fit. As I was sort of digging out the lower part, the sort of cellar of this build, I decided that 9x9 was a bit better because I could sort of envision what I was going to do in the cellar, and I just needed a little bit more space for that. So 9x9 seemed like the better choice, and I was sort of messing around a little bit, as you guys will see, of what to do with the cellar and how to make the entrance. And I wanted it on the side of the house to go underneath. I wanted it to be a very small cellar because I want some storage in there, some of the not so nice stuff that you would have in Minecraft. So quite a lot of the storage, quite a lot of the crafting stuff goes on down there, and obviously with this being a small house, I wanted everything to be as compact as possible but still feel quite spacious. So that's something that I definitely wanted to do, and as you guys can see, I took a while to get the entrance right, but eventually with the cobblestone and the stairs, I do eventually get this right, and then we build the walls and everything sort of starts to come together. With the base structure being built, I decided to then move on to the sort of entrance into the main house. As you can see, I've done the entrance and the sort of the very outside build of or other walls as such of the cellar. So I decided to do the same for the main part of the house. So very simple, and like I say, all sort of like of the main details to make this build what it is and what you saw at the start comes later on. It's the base structure that you need to start off with. And even though that is obviously at the minute made out of cobblestone and wood, the details on that come later. So with the wood, the style that I like for medieval 100% is the wooden arches that go up, and you guys will see me sort of like test how best to do this. But overall, I've got like a vision of where I want to go with this, and how I eventually want this to look. So I sort of know where I'm going with it, but quite a lot of it, like I say, is testing along the way, and a few things change here and there. But you guys will see the wall definitely does take shape in this step, and these sort of bits that you see me doing, they do change later on and that sort of stuff. But like I say, that's all part of the building process. So to finish off the main structure of this house, I decided to add the roof, and how I do this is just with the stairs, and I prefer to go one over where the actual roof starts, so it sort of like overhangs. It gives a really nice depth to the house, and it sort of goes out one like in each direction, so it goes out one on the sides, one below, and it really does add to the house and gives it that little extra depth, so it's not all like one layer. And there's various stuff overhanging. With the outside of the roof done, I decided to move inside and make it look a little bit more pretty on the inside, because the underside of the stairs, for me, not so good. So what we decided to do is level this out with cobblestone, and start adding the walls in as well. And you guys might see I haven't done the wall on the other side, and that's because I decided halfway through that I wanted to actually add a chimney, and that's going to be added in a future set. So I'm just clearing this wall out again, and this is where the sort of chimney is going to be going, and that's what you can see that I'm sort of like debating how to do now. Now you have to be quite careful when you're making a chimney like this, because obviously if you've got a fire going, you don't want it to catch fire on the wood, because quite a lot of this house, especially in medieval times, was made out of wood and stone. So I definitely made, I think I was a little bit overcautious with the cobblestone in the end, so I moved it out to 3 more there, but obviously it could catch fire, and I really didn't want that to happen. So I was a little bit overcautious. I probably didn't need the 3rd layer of cobblestone that you saw me add. And to finish off the top of this chimney, I was wondering whether to put a nether rack at the very top so you could see the smoke, but eventually at the end I did decide against this, and I decided to just leave it and just add like a mini roof to the chimney. But obviously, like I say, if you guys do like that sort of thing, you would like to see the smoke, then by all means add it to yours. Like I say, you don't need to follow this 100%. This is definitely something that is just a rough visual guide of a small medieval house that you guys can build. And with that being done, I decided to try and think about the structure of it, and those few like bits around it. I decided to add some half slabs. Now these half slabs I was messing about with trying to find a good pattern, and in the end I just made it very simple and not very complex as to what I was testing with. I was just testing that idea out in case it looked good, but in the end I didn't really think it looked as good as I sort of first imagined. So with the main structure very much looking how I sort of envisioned it, the final step to completing the actual the main bulk of this build was to add the wall. And as you see, I'm just testing out random patterns, as I've been doing with the other walls throughout the rest of the house. And with that being done, I wanted to start adding the small things that make this house a little bit sort of more complex than the very simple style that I've created it in so far. So the first step that I do is to add some windows to the actual roofs. Now you guys can see me sort of testing this about, and I did want to add a window on the second side, and I eventually did do this. But to start off with, I was just doing the one, trying to figure out the good pattern and everything, and then I was going to mirror it on the other side. You guys could leave this on one side if you want, if there's like nothing to view on the other side, but for this house where it was situated, I definitely wanted the second window on there. So I decided to mirror this across. Some people would not prefer this. That, like I say, it's totally up to you guys. You guys can definitely leave the second one out if you wanted, or create them a little bit bigger because they are obviously one block high. So you guys could do that if you wanted. The next detail that I was testing with was between the spruce and the dark oak planks. I think eventually I did actually go with the dark oak, and I added sort of like a wooden lip. As you guys saw me when I was creating the roof earlier, I decided I like everything to go out one, so it looks like it's overhanging. And I decided to change this overhanging feature to actually be wood, and then the rest be stone. And it just gives it that little bit extra, and makes the roof seem a little bit different and not just very plain and bland. Cobblestone, but I go around and add the mossy cobblestone to make it look like it's been there a while, to make it look a lot sort of, it just gives it that added detail that it needs to really make a Minecraft build stand out and not look like it's been built by someone that doesn't really know what they're doing. So mossy cobblestone, great for that. It can really add and make cobblestone look really well. And how I do this, I just randomly mash out a load of the cobblestone, change it up for some moss cobblestone. Sometimes I go back on the amount of moss cobblestone I've added, sometimes I don't with the texture pack I'm using at the minute. It really complements the cobblestone quite well. and I decided to add quite a lot more than I possibly normally would, but I think it works with the build. And this is where I came unstuck. My planning wasn't so good because I completely forgot that I was going to have a wooden floor, and I wanted the cellar to be completely stone. So what I decided to do was lower it one level, and that's essentially how it worked. Because I was contemplating having just a too high cellar, because it's only a cellar. It doesn't need to be too high, like it doesn't need to be really high. But I don't know, it just feels a little bit too cramped. And a 3 high definitely is what I would prefer in this build, so I ended up lowering it 1, which wasn't too bad, but I probably should have thought of that when I first built it. When I should have probably looked up and seen that there was a wooden floor, but that's just me being a dirt. And as you guys can see, I'm just adding the mossy cobblestone to the cellar. And this really, you could go a little bit more overboard in the cellar, because obviously it's a cellar. It's not supposed to be the cleanest of places. So as you can see with the floor, I did add quite a bit, and you could add a little more and make sort of like the cobblestone the one-off accent in the cellar, rather than making the mossy cobblestone the one-off accent with the outside of the build. So with that being done, this is another thing I really like, the random paths. I use gravel, I use the moss stone, I use the cobblestone, and I think they're the 3 things that I used. With the moss cobblestone, the very top of the moss cobblestone, it's really nice because it sort of blends in with the grass in this texture pack. And then I use the cobblestone, and I keep messing about with what I want to do, and where I want all the stones to be placed. I want it to look like it's been worn out, with people walking on it. So with that being done, I go around, start placing the torches, start lighting this place up, and I try not to go overboard with the torches. I try to only place the necessities to make it so mobs don't spawn directly outside, and there's obviously no way that they can spawn inside. So I don't go overboard on the outside as I possibly have, or some people would. You only need the bare essentials, especially outside, and that's what I do. I don't go overboard with the torches because it can ruin a build, and I try not to do that. So with that being done, we're moving on to the interior of these places. So I start adding the torches on the interior, and then I start contemplating what I actually want in the cellar. Now I know I wanted chests. I wanted it to be the main storage area, so the place where we do quite a lot of the furnace work, the crafting, the smelting, and then I later on decide that we want to do the brewing down here. We want like the cauldrons and that, and it's just me just testing out loads of different patterns to add these in. And sort of what looks good, and you guys will see sort of the end result that I finally decide on. And then with that being done, we move on to the inside of the house. Now this is the bit that I really like. I got some really nice ideas for the inside of the house. I wanted an armour stand. I wanted obviously to work in the bed near the fireplace. I wanted possibly tables, like a little kitchen area, possibly 1 or 2 furnaces, stuff like that. And you guys will see how I sort of work it into this place and use the small space, because like I say, this is a small medieval house design. It's not a large one. It's supposed to be quite compact and just have the bare essentials. So eventually I get the look that I'm sort of after, and I really enjoy the interior of this house, definitely. So with the interior, the cellar, the interior of the house, everything done, the walkway outside, I decided to add a little farm just to complete this build. Like I say, this is a very small house, so I wanted a quite small farm. So next to the little porch stairs area outside, I decided to fence off a little area, hoe some ground, place down a few carrots, some potatoes, some wheat, grow it up just so you guys can see what it looks like, and add a few torches and a little water feature to really make it pop. And obviously I add like a little path just so it fits in with the rest of it, and you guys will see sort of like how I decide on doing this. And that is everything complete in this small medieval townhouse tutorial that I've done on my channel. This is the first of a new series. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Just going through all the screenshots, showing what the house looks like in the daytime, at night, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. Let me know any improvements that you might have done. If you guys do build this, let me know what you think of it. Also, let me know if there's anything you guys would like me to build in the medieval style. I've got a list of about 20 different builds. But if any of you guys say something that's on my list, I'll probably bump it up the list so it comes up sooner, because obviously you guys want to see that. If it's something that I don't have on the list and I think it'll be good, then the odds are I'll probably use it. So let me know in the comment section below, and let me know what you think of this whole style of tutorial, and if there's any improvements, because like I say, it's the first time that I've done anything like this. So I would like the input from you guys. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Hopefully you enjoyed this. If you did, please leave it a like. Please leave it a comment, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and as always, I'll speak to you all soon. Take care.